The undying guilt of Alcmaeon. The fates had cast their threads and the house of Amphiarose was doomed. When Alcmaeon first drew breath, his destiny was already stained with the blood of betrayal. His father Amphiarose had foreseen the ruin of the Seven against Thebes. With divine sight he knew he would not return if he rode to war. Yet his wife Eriphyle, seduced by the promise of a golden necklace, an ill-omened gift from the trickster Polynices, forced his hand. Bound by honor to obey her decree, Amphiarose left for battle and, as he predicted, perished. His last words to his son were not of love nor of wisdom but a command: "Avenge me, Alcmaeon." And so, as time wove its cruel design, the son grew to manhood under the burden of that demand. The day came when he stood before his mother Eriphyle, no longer as her child, but as her executioner. With cold resolve he plunged his blade into the womb that bore him, ending her treachery with a single stroke. But the gods do not so easily forgive the spilling of a mother's blood. From that moment forth, Alcmaeon became a fugitive, hounded by the wrath of the Erinyes, the monstrous Furies who punish kinslayers. Their shrieks chased him in his waking hours, their claws raked through his dreams. His sleep was plagued by visions of his mother's ghost, her hollow eyes accusing, her blood staining his hands no matter how many times he washed them. Desperate to cleanse himself of the taint of matricide, Alcmaeon wandered far and wide. Oracle after oracle, shrine after shrine, none could absolve him. At last the voice of Apollo, cold and inscrutable, whispered his only salvation: "Find a land untouched by the sun when you shed your mother's blood. Only there will you know peace." His weary feet carried him to the river god Achelous, whose waters coiled like silver serpents through the land. The god took pity upon him, offering his daughter Caliri as a wife and granting him shelter upon a newly formed island, land so fresh it had not existed when his mother fell. For the first time in years, Alcmaeon breathed without the taste of death upon his tongue. The sun which once burned his guilt into his flesh, now seemed softer in its glow. The shadows of the past loosened their grip, and for a brief, fleeting moment, Alcmaeon dared to dream of peace. But fate had not yet finished with him. Caliroi, fair as moonlight and fierce as any goddess, desired a gift beyond pearls and poetry. She wanted the golden necklace of Harmonia, the very jewel that had doomed his house. Alcmaeon, blinded by love or foolishness, sought to retrieve it from Phegeus, his former ally. He rode forth, cloaked in a fragile hope, believing he could barter for the past without invoking its curse. Treachery met him at the gates. Phegeus, knowing of his past crimes and fearing the gods' judgment, feigned kindness, luring Alcmaeon into trust. But as the shadows lengthened and the halls of Phegeus whispered with betrayal, the truth became clear. Alcmaeon fell upon his blade not in honorable combat, but as a victim of deceit. The earth drank his blood just as it had his mother's. His cries echoed into the night, unheard by gods and men alike. Even in death his suffering was not yet ended. The Furies, insatiable in their pursuit, still lingered, shrieking in the shadows. It was only through the vengeance of his sons, Amphoterus and Acarnan, that justice was met. They avenged their father's murder, bathing their blades in the blood of Phegeus and his kin. They did not stop at mere retribution. They burned the halls of their enemies, reducing the house of Phegeus to ashes, so that not even the memory of his treachery could remain. But even as they stood amidst the ruin, the silence was heavy, for they knew their father's spirit still wandered. Yet no revenge, no battle, no blood could cleanse the curse entirely. Alcmaeon's name would forever be etched in tragedy, a tale of guilt that not even the gods could absolve. The river Achelous swelled with grief, and Caliri mourned the lover she had driven to doom. the necklace of Harmonia stained with generations of ruin, passed from hand to hand, its gleaming surface hiding the blood it had cost. And so the cycle continued, an endless echo of fate and folly, in which gods and mortals alike played their parts, bound by an unbreakable thread woven long before their birth. Alcmaeon, though dead, remained a symbol of the inescapable consequences of divine wrath and human ambition. His story is told as a warning that no man, no matter how noble or strong, could defy the will of the gods and hope to escape unscathed. The specter of his guilt lived on, hovering over those who dared to wear the cursed necklace, ensuring that the sins of the past would never truly be laid to rest.